this project, we have focused in two main fields. One is what we call our Sustainable Coastal Integrated Development Program along the southern coast of the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. And in this area, we protect 4 sea turtle nesting beaches. We work with 2 sustainable fishing communities. We also helped create 2 marine protected areas, and we're working with the authorities of the Ministry of the Environment to provide these areas with an efficient conservation policy. On the other hand, we're also working at the high seas in Cocos Island, doing the research, again, coming up with the results that show where these species have to be protected in the high seas, where we have to focus our conservation efforts. But some of our major successes have been precisely in the courts. When everything else fails, we need to impose the best policy by strategic litigation. Okay, the key challenge this program seeks to overcome is the demise of highly migratory species, many of which are already declared critically endangered by International Union for the Conservation of Nature precisely because of their overfishing. Overfishing is one of the main problems that we have to face right now, we're trying to solve, and there are 2 basic solutions for this. Finding sustainable livelihoods for people who live in coastal communities, and the second one is we definitely need high seas marine protected areas where no fishing is allowed. And we already know that the bigger these marine protected areas are, the better they are for marine conservation and the better they are for commercial fisheries. Throughout my career, I have worked on influencing policy for the better, for the improvement of marine conservation. I have worked in Costa Rican courts, I've worked in international courts, I've worked in conventions. We've been very successful in many fields, we've had a lot of impact. And there's one thing I've learned, and I would like to share with everyone who's trying to do marine conservation policy, especially nowadays, that it's so critical and so important. We must work with our environment authorities, and we must work with our domestic conservation of wildlife laws and conservation of biodiversity laws. But as soon as we start working in these fishery conventions and with our fishery authorities, we start seeing this unwillingness to abide by the best scientific evidence possible. And of course, this does not work for the conservation of the species we're working so hard to protect. So let's do everything we can to empower our authorities of environment so that we can move forward and save these animals. What makes this project unique is, first of all, we're scientists. We're concerned about generating the best science, working with the best scientists, so we can provide the authorities with the best advice on how to improve marine conservation policy. On the other hand, we're aware of the law. We know our laws very well. We know conservation law, biodiversity laws in Costa Rica. We handle them all pretty well, and we actually handle international law pretty well as well. And what actually sets us apart from most of the rest is we actually take our governments to court, or our authorities to court, whenever we see that our basic constitutional rights are being violated. And so far, we've won every case.